Hello, this is Scott from actionmiler.com with another update on the 61 Chevy Impala SS. Alright guys, here we go for round 2 of spraying some base. I went ahead and did a lot of fixes on here. The paint wasn't very thick, so it sanded through pretty easy. There's no trying to save it on this one. I got my photo etched emblems on, and I got a majority of it filled in with the liquid mask. Hopefully that will hold up and help when it comes time to cleaning out the insides of that. So I'll go ahead and tack it. I wiped it down already with a wax and grease remover. Get rid of any of the fingerprints from handling it. I'll just go through and wipe off some of the dust. I'll go ahead and I'll spray a light coat on here, and then I'll be able to see if I missed any dust on it. This stuff dries quick enough and thin enough where you can wipe it down after each coat and pretty much pull out any of the dirt you get in it from coat to coat. But here we go. I'm getting anxious to get some more color on this. Got my pipettes this time. See how well this works. Well, I'd say that was a success. A little leakage, but hey, not compared to what I was doing. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and spray this off camera. Alright, the first one I just went ahead and sprayed over the white that I'd sanded through, or sanded where I sanded into the white. That should dry pretty quick. Alright, now my previous attempts at this, I know I'm not going to make it through the whole thing. Nope. So don't even start the top. Okay. I think it might still be a little too hot to spray this. I think we're getting up to about 80, 90, so you can mix that. You probably don't want to spray beyond, the reducer, because then you start getting this dry spray a little too textured. Yeah, I think you can see that it shows up on there. I got some where it dry sprayed on the back. Once it dry sprays, you can't really do nothing about it. You're gonna have to stop and sand it out and then spray it again, because once it's raised dry spray like that, every coat's gonna have that. It's gonna carry that right on up. So I guess I used probably over half just on this body, and that still looks like it's going to need some sanding to clean it up. So I might as well call that a coat and fix my spot, because I still got to spray the hood. So what I'll do is I'll spray the hood and get that caught up to this blue, and then I'll tape the hood onto the body and then spray it with its last final coat. Alright, that's it for now. Well, right now I got it set up, mocked up the ride height to see what I was getting. The front is a graph from another, I think it's an earlier 60s Impala, which was pretty much the same thing. It was a lot more detailed. Trying to modify the suspension on the old one, it had its issues, so it ended up just snowballing, and I just cut the suspension section, the cross member, out of another kit and stuck it in there. Hopefully that'll be okay, you know, modifying ride height and all. The back is the rear end from the same kit. I figured as long as I was going, you know, that way, I might as well, you know, go the whole way. Use the same wheel backs and whatnot. Those were a little bit more detailed, so you know, it was hard not to mess with something. But I think where I left off, I was sprayed my first, or my main base coat. I did the liquid mask on the photo etch, and then I sprayed a good few coats of the base, and now I've got it wet sanded. I did have some dry spray that, you know, I had on the trunk that I was kind of fighting with, and that sanded out pretty easy. I mean, it probably looked worse and felt worse than it was. Being just base coat, it was an easy sand out. You'd want to do that anyway with dirt, you know, go over it with something. I ended up going over it with 1200, the orange 1200 Assilex sanding paper that I got. I did it wet, and it was fine. And then, speaking of wet, that's still got the dry sanding stuff on it, why it looks bad. But then I went ahead and seen if the masking the photo etch was going to work, and it did. I mean, it was the moment that you paint over the mask, well, you're not going to be able to get water to the liquid mask to release it. So I still ended up having to scrape a lot of it. It released no problem once you get, you know, start getting it up. Overall, for my first attempt at doing that, it did turn out, I guess, all right. But once you got the shiny photo etch against a dark background, you can see, wow, that was not straight. Alright, so I had somebody leave me a comment on my other video about photo etch. It was about attaching the photo etch with a clear instead of super glue. And I thought at first I was trying to cover up any of the, you know, the crap I get from attaching these, you know, super glue or marks or scuff marks or whatever. And after I've painted it with this base and got them cleared off, I realized that's, you know, that's not going to work, especially with doing it with a metallic paint, because even though I used thin super glue, it still left enough of a texture and build up that it's pretty visible. In this, going with clear to attach them, what my plan from now on is, and what I'm assuming he was referring to, is I can spray the body in the you know, the car's color, and then I'll clear it with a 2-part automotive clear. I'll spray the one coat, which, you know, is just a light coat to get everything sealed, so you can do whatever you want with it, you know, without screwing up the paint, you know, fingerprints. And then I'll go ahead and apply the photo etch using clear. You know, you have to make up a little bit of clear coat to use, and that, hopefully that should stick just fine. But what that's going to mean is any of the residue from spillage and leakage and, you know, slop that you get from around this, it's gonna get it's gonna disappear once you clear over the body again with the next 2 coats of clear. And then it's got to blend in a hell of a lot better than that super glue did. The body's pretty much done as far as photo etch. I got to do the emblems on the hood, which it's a good thing I had that idea or the comment, because all those that had the Chevrolet lettering all individual, and that was to try and do that with a instant super glue. That's as much trouble as I had with the rest of it. That would not have probably turned out too well. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to spray the hood. I still haven't gotten any paint on it. I'm going to spray it. I got it in primer. I sanded it down. I smoothed off my emblems, and hopefully there's enough to know where they go, so I'm not, you know, having to deal with positioning and stuff. I got some primer, the white primer on the bottom of the hood. I've got the injection pin marks cleaned out. I mean, I can see them, but hopefully they hide a little better once I get some paint on there. Make sure I wash this again and clean out all the crud. But from what I looked at references, the bottom of the hoods are painted body color. So I'm going to go ahead and spray, you know, a good coat of base coat, and then I'll be leaving that, you know, the raw base coat. I won't try and clear coat that. So once that dries, then I can go ahead and get my thick coat of blue on the hood. And what more I've done to the body is the wheel wells, they're supposed to be a black, semi-gloss satin black. The firewall on the full-scale cars are painted body color. So I went ahead and did that last time with the body. Let's see if I can't pull this up. This is a tight fit. I left the nubs. I probably could have trimmed them off a little better. That way it would have been easier to pull. Alright, I got the chassis back off there to show you. I did the firewall in the body color. It wasn't too much of a big deal. I just put tape, masking tape along the bottom, because it's only on the face, and then it kind of blends out and fades at the bottom.